How we doing, everyone? Welcome back to another edition of FSI's NASCAR DFS Pick Show. I'm your host, TK Nation 47, joined with Mega Roller 31. Mega, how was the Xfinity race, and have you enjoyed your Vegas experience this weekend?
Not really. I've been on the wrong
Yeah,
side.
me either.
Ty Gibbs, like the dude looks like he's 9 years old. Like he is talented, but he is not making many friends. So
no, he did not make a friend in me today.
Wrecking Sieg.
Yeah, Wrecking Sieg just kind of ended it for me. Luckily, I went to a movie. I didn't have to see much of the race and watch him win that. So whatever. Yes, I heard. I was getting
they had a red flag for snow in Vegas.
And then I get an update that a red flag came out. I'm like, for what? Like, who wrecked? Nobody wrecked. I'm like, snow.
Yeah. In Vegas?
In Vegas? Yeah. That it's 60 degrees here in Ohio, but it's snowing in Las Vegas. Make it make sense.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So here we are. We have Las Vegas. This is a 1.5 mile intermediate track. We have
267 laps if they're
267 laps. Thank you. The Pennzoil 400. All right, Mega, take us away with some strategy and maybe the talking point of the slate, as I think it's the same thought I have.
Well, here's the thing. We had more problems in qualifying and practice, which is
really
going to, yes, which cars spun out and wrecked, and Kyle Busch didn't even get a chance to run a qualifying lap. So no. He is going to start dead last. I don't know what to do with him because he does seem like he's going to be a super chalky, amazing player because he can go no place but up, but he has had nothing but problems with this car. So really to pay off his salary at 10.2.
Yeah, what are
we're looking for about 5x.
Right,
so you probably need like what, 50 points or so.
Sure,
50 points for him. So he would have to, where's the bonuses here? So probably finish like 18th, which
very possible.
Is very possible.
It is. But, he's a Vegas born. He's Vegas born.
I know.
He's got, let's see, 3 top 5s in the last 6 races, an average finish of 8th. But not many lead laps, though.
But can you look back at any of that and really use it as actual data because of the new car and the struggle that he personally has been having in it? True. So the only nice thing is, like we've talked in the last couple of weeks, is Daytona is a complete wild card. Nobody cares about Daytona because that's like all out.
Take that, throw it out.
Yeah. Exactly. Auto Club, some of these bigger teams really didn't do testing there because it's not a track that's in the finals. This is a track that is in the final in the playoffs. So Gibbs did do testing here. So maybe that is going to help them with some of their struggles, and hopefully they figured out the whole netting on the front of the car so their splitters are sucking in dust and air and overheating. So, but obviously they did something right because they have the pole in Christopher Bell, who ran like very, very fast.
So what I know is Kyle Busch's backup car is a Denny Hamlin old backup car or testing car that they have to throw a paint scheme on. So whatever Denny tested with, I think, is Kyle Busch's backup car, which bodes well for Kyle Busch because it doesn't seem like his crew chief's pretty good at setting up a car. It's at least this next gen car. And even last year, how many times did Kyle Busch complain about his car? I mean, so
almost as much as Kevin Harvick.
Yeah, exactly. Well, a constant theme there. Guy's older. So I'm gonna play Kyle Busch tomorrow. I mean, you have to cash block it. You're gonna be there in GVPs. There's gonna always be a reason to fade someone in a GVP contest, but it's hard to ignore. And especially where we're at in the top of the leaderboard or top of the starting position here, where everyone's going to probably start their lineup Larson, Kyle Busch, right?
Yes. Besides, I'm really debating it though, honestly.
I'm just thinking of game theory here, and people are going to think Larson's going to dominate the early part of the race. Kyle Busch is going to get me a nice safety net of points, and I'm going to figure out the rest. I mean, yeah, you're left with no salary, but guys like Emmerich are super cheap, and we'll get to some other names here, but like there's a real pathway to a ton of duplicated lineups tomorrow, which usually does well for large scale GPPs for myself. Getting an ability to be hedged the field on a certain amount of lineups because they're all going to be the same, right?
Right. So right now that's leaving you $7,125 left for the last 4 drivers. So
that's a lot. That's not a lot of money.
So let's go and see what we can get.
We'll see what we can find. We're going to talk this out. Starting on the pole, Christopher Bell with a super fast lap, 8,200. Your thoughts?
I think he could be a cash play. I don't know if I would play him in the same lineup as Larson, unless you think that it could be a situation like earlier in a race where they're just going to kind of alternate and they're going to be the 2 most dominant cars and nobody else is going to get it up there and be in the equation. And we've seen that happen before on tracks like this. There's 267 laps is like a lot of laps. So like we're starting to get up there with, it's not a short track where you have like 400 laps, but still there's a lot of points up there for grabs. So I can see him being feasible. I think he's going to be highly owned just based on his performance in qualifying and in practice. And overall recently to start the season, he's been decent. So I think that, people will be looking at him, and the price tag is good too. I mean, it's 82. So if you pop him in there in your lineup too with the other guys, if we're doing that way, that still gives you like 67, which it's 2 deep punts and a mid-level play or 3 punts. I think it might be able to work, but we'll keep going.
Okay. I don't mind him in GPPs. Christopher Bell looks like he has a hot rod. Guy can handle the car. So as we talked about with Kyle Larson, probably a prime chalk play tomorrow. Everyone thinks he's going to dominate because
he won last year. He almost won the fall race.
He won Auto Club and the next gen car. It's not totally similar track styles, but almost with multiple grooves. You have to be, fast on corner exit. Car looks clean. Kyle Larson, arguably one of the, the best driver in the series right now. You're going to have to pay for it. And Kyle Busch and Kyle Larson lineups are going to be very duplicated tomorrow. But I can see, the fade in either one. I could see playing both. I think you should just have yourself hedged out in a scenario where you need lineups with both, lineups with one, or lineups with the other, kind of like what we saw with the truck video, the truck show race this past Friday. It's just an interesting dynamic. Anything else to really add to that?
No, I think you're right. If you are playing FanDuel, I think you really want to start with Bell and Larson because you're rewarded more for like finishing points there. And I think, Bell is still going to finish like top 5. If he doesn't win the race, I think he'll do very well here with Larson and Busch. And then FanDuel pricing is a lot different. So the other 2 drivers, I think you can probably get in some decent quality. I haven't looked at the pricing yet, but I think you probably fill in the other 2. So I think you could go with Bell, Larson, and Kyle Busch as a core for FanDuel, or pick what other Dominator you want to pair up top. It's a little easier to fit in there.
All right.
So the next 2,
I was going to say next 2 we have Cindric and Briscoe, 2 young drivers. Cindric kind of an elite year to start the year, and then Briscoe kind of out of place up here in the top 5. So what are your thoughts on him? And why is Cindric a fade in your opinion?
My model has him losing like 12 places and finishing 15th. And if he does that, he only scores like 20 DK points. So it's really, he's looking at like 2.5 X value. It's not really Briscoe. My model likes him a little bit better, but still, Stuart Haas, I think, has progressed since last year, but I don't know if they're quite there yet. I still think that there are so many other guys that could get up there into the top 10 that I just don't see that these guys finishing where they start, especially with how they can fan out with like restarts and stuff.
Yeah,
We
they could get
saw
lost in the fold quick.
exactly like we saw, look at Xfinity, we saw Barry up here, who I thought would do better today, and and there also these two things seem like they could potentially end up. We saw a lot of wrecks from like the within like the top 10 in like trucks and in Xfinity. It didn't seem like the wrecks were like in the back or the middle of the field. I mean, there were a couple here and there, but it seemed like towards the end of the race, most of the wrecks were like 1 through 10 or 1 through 15, like in
Right.
there. So I think that these guys could be collateral damage there. I mean,
Collateral
they're
damage.
cheap, so they don't hurt you as much if they are knocked out, but I don't know. I just don't really foresee them in builds.
Fair enough. All right. Next up, we have Chase Elliott in the 9 car. 11K is quite expensive. You're taking a chance here by not playing Larson, I assume, and playing Chase Elliott.
Yeah, he would be as if you're doing dominating groups. So again, if you pick like 3 guys that are you think are good mid-range or solid values, and then or get your like core 4, and then just rotate like your 2 10K dominators in, and that's what I do a lot in like the $1 like 20 max entry is I'll find like 4 guys that or like maybe a pool like 6 guys in case I need to like drop down a little bit or I have a little bit more to go up. 6 guys I really feel comfortable in playing in like cash to have like a floor, and then I'll like go like Larson Elliott, Larson Logano, Larson Hamlin, Larson Blaney, and just
So Chase Elliott has led 178 laps here at this track. Not typically a guy that leads a bunch of laps unless we're at a small track or a short track in a or indoor road course. To see him have some lead lap, success here is nice, but he did not finish those races pretty well. But this is like I said, like we talked about, a whole new car. So a lot to be, a lot still going on here. A lot we're still learning. Next up, though, we have a 2-time winner at this track, Joey Logano, 10-8. I think is probably the best GPP play on the slate because everyone, like I said, fitting into the Larson and Kyle Busch mold. I think Logano is the one that either he's high owned with everyone thinking the same thought I have, or he's going to fly completely under the radar and be a steal as a potential dominator of the race.
Yeah, I mean, he made it through Auto Club, but that was like his 4th car of the season. So that's why I have him as a GPP. Is I saw it better there, and he looked like better in practice. But with the part shortages and stuff, like this isn't I don't think this is an elite piece of equipment yet. It might take like a couple weeks or so before they get like an A car built again, especially like being out on the West Coast for the last couple of races.
That does hamper the equation a little bit. Good thought. Tyler Reddick, dominated quite a bit of the race last week. Has shown a ton of speed. Richard Childress Racing really has an emphasis on this 8 car. There is another Richard Childress Racing car inside that top 10. They look like they have some speed. Are you interested in Tyler Reddick?
Yeah, as long as he doesn't Austin Hill it, but I think you can run high here, you can run low here, you can run in the middle. So if he finds a groove that works up top and nobody else has it, then I think that he, maybe can move up a little bit. So I think he can keep it clean. And yeah, he did dominate the race until like Larson at the end came up and, was able
figured
to
out
finally
that car and stole the show.
Right.
That's what Larson does.
And it seems like Larson and Elliott, they claim they buried the hatchet and they're teammates. So I don't really see a beat there like Elliott Harvitt last year where it carried over or like or Kyle Sieg and or Ryan Sieg and Ty Gibbs.
That's going to get interesting.
Yes, stay tuned for that.
Over.
Revenge is a dish best served cold, as they say. So
exactly.
When you
All right, next up. Exactly. We have Denny Hamlin at 10K. Starting 9th. He had some really good qualifying going. Car looks like it's pretty good. What are your thoughts on a potential win here from Denny Hamlin?
Again, the Gibbs cars should be better here. They did test like Denny Hamlin can win any race. I think he's he's a good play here, but again, I think he'll be more in like my dominator rotation group than somebody that I'm going to single out for
Sure.
a cash or GPP lineup.
I agree. Next up, we have Ricky Stenhouse. Kind of been a surprise of the year with speed, I would just say. He did finish pretty well last week. He qualified well this week. You have him listed as a fade. Go ahead and tell us why.
I just look at his like speed in qualifying or in practice versus
Qualifying.
where he qualified.
It doesn't match up.
Yeah. Average running position or finish here 15th in 13 races. So I mean there's a decent sample size, 2 top 5s, 2 top 10s out of 13 races. So that means only led like 12 laps. I think he just qualified a little bit too high here in the top
Sure.
10. Even if he holds his position, I have 72. I mean, that's decent, but I think
Right.
he's in my model has him losing 9 spots and finishing 18th. So
Yeah, he might be on the way out for me as well. Next up, we have Austin Dillon, 8K on the 3. As I mentioned, Richard Childress has some nice speed, but this is another one I'm not too sure about with where he is starting.
Although in 13 races he has a 0 DNF rate, which is outstanding.
That's nice.
But his average running position is just like 15th. Or actually, am I looking at the right line? Yeah, it's like 15th, so it's not nothing great. Actually, I was reading the wrong line. Stenhouse is actually finished 19th most of his races. So
yeah,
so
both of these guys might be fades for me.
Yeah, I think they're good cars and everything. They're just starting too high for like DFS purposes. If we're paying anywhere from like the 7,000 to 8,000 range, I'm going to look at like Ross Chastain or Daniel Suarez, who had like amazing speed last week, or Eric Jones. I think just comparative to other people in their price range, I'm not looking at them like in a vacuum as individual drivers. I'm looking at them in a range. If I land there, there's better options in my opinion.
Bingo. Nailed it. Next up, we have Ryan Blaney starting 11th, 10-5. The model seems to sure love him. Go ahead and tell us why.
He's just really been good here. His speed was actually a lot faster in practice versus where he qualified. It has him moving up like 8 laps. He's won here twice. 7 top 5s, 11 top 10.
5s.
Yeah, so 50% of his races have ended up in the top 10. He's got led 300 laps. So I think but again, it could be.
I think I found my number 3 driver tomorrow. Well, after the 2 main guys, I think it might be Blaney for me.
This might be a proceed with caution though, too, because it might have been the different package that they're running here, but it was but I think they ran the 750 pretty much on. No, they run the 550 on it. It doesn't matter. The package could have had a little
final practice numbers look good enough for me.
Right. And he's had pretty good control of this car, and he called the Xfinity race and like had some really good insight there too on different techniques and stuff. So I think he's good there.
Perfect. Next up, we have Martin Truex Jr. at 9,500. That's a really nice price tag.
Yeah. And I think, he was one that I looked when I was trying to figure out who the prime plays were, and I went with Byron over him just because I think
because of practice.
Yeah. Well, just because of practice, and just like Byron just seems like he wants to get up there and lead laps and do well in.
It's tight between the two, that's for sure. Between Truex and Byron, I can see you can make a case for both. I think both are good plays. I'll have exposure to both. But what about the guy here in the middle, Alex Bowman? I'm not sure what to do with Bowman.
Yeah, again, he's the vanilla guy. This is good. This is a good starting spot for him. If you can put 8,700 into your build, and like I said, he might be one that I'm gonna have, because if I don't play Kyle Busch, that's going to give me a little bit more than some of the other.
You really need that top 5 then.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So if you believe in the top 5 for Bowman, and you fade Kyle Busch thinking he can't get any higher than 18th, then you're looking good in GPPs. With obviously the right Dominators nailed, right? So
oh yeah, sure.
Yeah. So you like Byron over Truex slightly. I think that's fair.
Right.
All right. Everybody's favorite villain. It's Brad Keselowski in the 84. Fenway or Roush has won quite a few races here, but nothing since 2014.
Yeah.
Is there a Renaissance day ahead of us with Brad Keselowski, or are we just gonna watch him ride around for 200 something laps?
Wreck a couple people and wreck himself.
Yeah,
I just
ride around.
Yeah, I need to see more on him and his new team and in this car and stuff.
I'm not sure on this. I think I'd rather take a shot on Bowman.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm at. All right. Probably one of the chalky plays of the slate, I presume. Daniel Hemrick starting 16th at 5,800.
I don't know if it's like super chalky, but I think people look at the price.
I don't think people are scared of the starting position.
No, I mean, yeah, true. The colleague have been decent. But he really, and I don't know if it was car in Xfinity, but every single restart, he just went backwards. And that kind of concerns me because I think that's more the driver and technique than it is actually the car, because he's got a decent car. I mean, he's in a different team now. He's it's the same team, but that makes me mild concerned. I think he'll be high owned. I think he's definitely somebody that you can get in your cash lineup and somebody that is going to help you with like the whole Kyle Busch, Kyle Larson, the Kyles.
He was okay in final practice. I think he's worthy of a strong value play tomorrow. Next up is Bubba Wallace, 6,300. I'm kind of torn here. I don't know what to do with Bubba. I'll need you. You're the Bubba guy, so go ahead and take it away.
I'm okay with him in cash based on the price. I think he can stay within the top 20. It seems like he's been decent this year. And again, like with the Gibbs Toyota's testing here, that's going to translate down into Denny's team also because of their affiliation. So I think that might help out a little bit. He just needs to stay out of trouble. Let's see if I can make sure I highlight his line so I read the right one. Eight races here, only one top 10, 23 average running position. Again, I think he's a cash play just based on his price tag. But if I'm looking at it, if I have $200 more, I love Chris Buescher much better based on
I
his
would
performance
definitely
at Homestead. So I would, if I don't have the 200, I'm okay with him. I like him better than Justin Haley, and you're really kind of in no man's land there. I don't think people will get up to Bubba. So he might be, if you play him and then like Hemrick or Harrison Burton, who we're going to get two more guys at 5,900, where you're saving $400 more, and that $400 might be super important in a build. That might be the difference later on, like for like an intermediate car. It might be the difference between like Eric Jones or playing like Chase Briscoe, who we said started like way too high up. I mean, that might be like something that makes or breaks your lineup. So
interesting. And now we have Ross Chastain at 7,500. The one car has a little bit of speed. I don't mind Chastain here at Vegas. Your thoughts?
He's a gambler. His average finish here is like 26 though in Cup.
In his practice, in his 10-lap average, I think in practice was 18th. So this looks like he's about to finish right where he starts.
Yeah.
I don't think that pays off 7.5. So maybe it's kind of a GVP to fade.
Yeah, true. I mean,
maybe you can just take that safety net. I don't know.
Again, like if I'm in that range, 200 less, I'm taking Jones every day.
Sure.
So
yeah, with the speed that he's had.
If I have two guys in that range, I'm probably going to drop down to a 6K guy and then go up to an 8K guy Like,
Or yeah, try to go get Truex or something at 95.
yeah, that might be a stretch. That might be where we go for like Bowman,
Ah, gotcha.
or Kurt Busch.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Next up is Harrison Burton at 59. You have him as a GPP play. I think that's fair.
yeah,
It doesn't look like
he's flipped his car both races so far.
Yeah, it doesn't look like he can handle these cars. He looks a little bit like he's not ready. I'm sure it'll come around for him later on in the year after he gets used to it. But for now, I'm going to be out on Harrison until I see some better success.
And I like the guy, but he was marginal last year in Xfinity. He was like, it was kind of like a what? Harrison Burton gets to 21. Yeah,
that was because of who his dad is. Let's be honest.
I know.
Exactly.
And in some of these cases, it's pay to play.
Yep. Jeb called up the Wood brothers and said, "Do my son a favor." That's what it was. Whatever. I mean, hey, more power to you, but I don't think you're ready. Next up is Eric Almirola in the 10 car final season, last hurrah. I think he's going to be going for a lot. I don't mind him in GBPs. 78's expensive, but hey, it's a GBP play.
Yeah, and I think just with his experience here, even though his average finish is, he's got bad DNF rate, man. At this,
it's checkers or records here for him.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, we're talking like almost 20, almost 1/4 of his races he doesn't finish.
He's top 10 or he's out.
Well, so only 3 top 10s. That's really not. Yeah. So no,
it's risky.
Yeah.
Daniel Suarez in the 99 showed up late last week. Later in that race, thought for a second he might actually pull it off, but
he hasn't caught on fire yet this year.
I mean, we were making strides. I wasn't on Suarez. I did not see that coming last week, so I kind of feel like my status as the Suarez guy should be revoked.
Well, you're starting too high, in all fairness to you.
Yeah. So I don't know. Here at 7K, not a lot of good success here, in his career. I don't know. I might be out again. I feel bad. I'm not the Suarez guy that I was last year.
But in 9 races, he's finished all of them. Even though it's only one top 10 and his average finish is 21st, at least you're not getting like DNF. So like
in 7K is not too expensive either. It's like fringe value.
Yeah. So I mean, if it came down to him or Stenhouse, which
I would probably take Suarez.
Yeah. Well, just with the place differentials.
Right. Although Stenhouse is faster, but they could end up by just sheer luck finishing in the same range. And then that would make Suarez a higher play, right? A higher salary. All right. So we have McDowell here at 53, starting 22nd.
I think he can finish in the top 25. I just don't really see him progressing much. He's got to talk about DNF rate, 16 races, 43%. Yeah.
No, I think I'm out on this play.
Yeah.
Eric Jones
I do not understand this track.
Right. That's what that says. Eric Jones here, starting 23rd in the 43. Holy speed from Petty and GMS.
Yeah, they have something going here. And
no kidding.
Yeah, so I definitely think he's a cash play. And like I said, I like him. Yeah. If it comes down to like thinking about playing Stenhouse, if you have the extra 100, I would take it right there.
I would do Jones, yeah.
Or like we said, if we're splitting hairs over like some of like Bubba Wallace and somebody, I would drop down a little bit to try to get Eric Jones in.
Yeah. All right. So we have Cole Custer in the 67. Not sure. What are your thoughts here?
5 races, no top 10s, average finish 22nd, but he has finished all the races. I think there's some place differential there. And I think cost wise, like if you end up in that range, he's okay. Again, if it's last man in and you have 6,700,
that's kind of where I was.
I'm taking Chris Buescher.
If I land on him, I'm not going to say, all right, no.
Right. Like if I land there and I don't have Buescher already, I'm definitely taking Buescher over him.
But if you have both, it's not like a terrible thing.
Right.
I mean, depending on what else you do, like with your 20 entry max and all your different, variations, I think he's well within your player pool, I think.
Right. So if you throw Busher and Jones in, because we said, they're decent prices with the Larson and the Kyle, I mean, that still gives you 73, which isn't too bad. Like we said, if we're in a case like that, then we'd, drop
Then your
down
decision to go more stars and scrub or balance starts to play out.
right. So I mean,
hopefully
you said you liked Hemrick, so that he's like a 58 guy. That gives you an 89 guy. So
there's
it
your
gives you,
Bowman.
yeah, well, it gives you actually the choice of like Kurt Busch, Bowman,
Ugh.
Keselowski, or Bell up top.
Yeah, I don't like Kurt Busch. And I know he's going to be chalk.
It's his home track too, but I'm just saying,
I know.
if these are two maybe solid fillers, not that I'm saying I'm recommending Cole Custer at all, but with like, that's why I have Chris Buescher as the prime, because I think he's right in the range that you
Kurt Busch, is just so good here. I hate it. Yeah. I don't know. I gotta discuss it, but I get what you're saying. Yeah, we don't want to give out a full lineup or anything.
Well, we're speculating here too, because like I said, Cole Custer is not somebody that I'm locked in on at all. And I'm really debating Kyle Busch, as I said, in the top also. So for my cash, I think I'm looking more balanced.
Yeah.
And that doesn't even get you Byron, so who I think is a really good play. But anyways, continuing on, we're to Kevin Harvick, who's another hard one too here, because he has had success at this track. Although, as I've always said, you run 8,000 races, you're going to have success everywhere at some point in your career. It just might not be now. I mean, he actually did better than I thought he would at Auto Club last week.
Right. His car setups are still trash though.
Yeah, but then again,
all his success comes at the latter half of the race.
Right. And I don't know, you didn't see like too much long run racing with these in Xfinity and in truck without like interruptions with things here and there. So I didn't even look at the weather forecast for tomorrow. So
I don't even see his name on speed charts. Like,
yeah,
I don't know. 9,100.
Yeah.
I think I'm out.
Yeah, I think he's a GPP play. Yeah. If you want to throw him in one of your lineups just for place differential, but other than that, Greg Biffle, I was pretty shocked. Like the only reason Greg Biffle is in this is because they took like 37 cars.
Sure.
I thought this was just a whole Daytona thing, but it looks like
the Biff is back, I guess.
Yeah, but
I'm not playing him at that starting spot.
I know. Yeah, true. That's a little bit too high there, but some people might end up on him with the prices, right? So we'll see. Hope
your favorite play, our favorite value play here next up, Chris Buescher.
I think so. Like I look below him, and there's nobody that I really feel as confident with. He does well when he qualifies 25th or worse, and can get up there. And like I said, like Homestead, like he's had some moments where he's like gotten up into. I definitely think top 15 is attainable for him. And he's one that might stay out while everybody else pits and tries to lead some laps, although we did not see that work out very well for Brandon Brown in Xfinity because he went way back. He dropped the anchor.
Take long either. Chris Buescher, I think I'm going to follow your lead here on him. I don't mind Justin Haley though, right underneath him.
Yeah, I think at GPP, I'd rather get Busch if I can't get up to him at 61. He gives you a little bit more place differential than like Harrison Burton or Daniel Hemrick. I think that's a very valuable here because those guys aren't going to get up and lead the race and they have the danger of falling. So if you do have the 61, then I think Haley here. Yeah.
All right. What are your thoughts on LaJoy and Gilliland? 51 and 50.
They're GPP plays. Corey LaJoy is like, I have him as low, but for some reason he's like a cult classic guy. He's like somebody people like to play because I think they trust him. Gillian has no team left. He lost because they had a Lugnar thing. They lost like 4 people. And then he lost his car chief this week. So I don't even know like who they have left working on this car. So that really scares me. I think he's GPP to almost a fade.
Sure. Next up is Kurt Busch. I just hate playing this guy, but man, I can't ignore him at Vegas.
Yeah, true. He's been very, very good here. Struggled a little bit with the new car, but we'll see.
I mean, the practice speeds look pretty good. At lap average around 15th, so gonna have to just take him here. There could, if you fit. My theory though is if you fade Kyle Busch, I would probably have Kurt Busch in there. I could see a lot of lineups being that way where they have one or the other. Or, if they fade Larson, they have both Busch brothers. So, yeah, I can see him being a big part of the duplicated lineup theory tomorrow. So, next up is Ty Dillon. I see you change him from fade to GBP. Having second thoughts?
Yeah, just because I remember these petty cars have been fast, and he does have. I think he's got a better car than some everyone. I originally looked at the 56 and thought, that's a little high. But then again, if it's he versus Biffle and I have the 100, I'm definitely playing him. And there's really, really, I'm not going to try to drop down to like LaJoy or Gilliand or Ware, Blicky, McLeod, Smithley, any of the rest of these guys. I'm not going to do it. I'm going to actually try to probably get up to him.
Sure.
I'm not going to play Michael McDowell. So he's the basement basically.
Yeah,
as I
would say he would be the cheapest guy I would probably play tomorrow.
So I'm hoping I'm not in a position to have to make that decision. But
sure. So the next 4 total fades.
Yeah,
Where
Cody Ware, like baby, I think he's probably the best out of them.
I'm out.
Yeah.
And then the Kyle Busch thing, which we kicked off. I think we talked on that enough. Meg, is there anything else to add on tomorrow's race?
No, I don't think so. I think if you see cars going to the back, it's a little bit harder to pass here, but I think it's such a long race that it really doesn't matter. You had 13 cars in Xfinity because they treated it as a double header. Have to move to the back, and they did fine. They got up to where they needed to be rather quickly. So the good cars will make it up there eventually. I just worry about the Busch brothers. They've struggled in this new car specifically. So I got to kind of throw out everything else I've ever known about them at Vegas and just hope that if I do play them, that they kind of figure out on a comfortable track the new equipment.
Yeah. All right, guys. I think that'll wrap things up for this DFS preview for Las Vegas. Mega, thank you so much for breaking a lot of this down for us. As always, guys, please like this video, comment below with any questions, comments, or concerns. You can follow me on Twitter at TKNation47. That is MegaRuler31. And you can follow us on our Twitter handle at FSI_DFS and on FSIDFS.com. You can find a link to our Discord chat. You get the premium projections. If any, technical, failed tech, post projections that need to be remodeled or anything like that, and our core lineups to help get you started if you're having trouble. You can find that in our Discord, on our Twitter handle and website. All right, thank you guys. Enjoy tomorrow's race and good luck.